Hello and good
Hey,
evening and welcome to the what? The
the
truth
truth
behind
behind
the
the
truth.
truth.
Thank you everyone for taking the time out joining us tonight on this wonderful evening in LA, Alabama, and
Ooh,
North Carolina, or
Georgia.
Georgia, or Michigan,
Mhm.
and all over the world. Okay. We want
Yes.
to say hello again to our Facebook family, our YouTube family, our Instagram family, our TikTok family, and everybody else's family that's always being a part of our wonderful show this evening. We have a lot of invited guests tonight, from our special guest.
Oh, yeah.
So we should see a few of them coming on a little bit into the show. We do apologize for running a little bit behind. You know how
Yeah.
technical difficulty does, especially when you're dealing with Wi-Fi. But
Not
it does happen.
Wi-Fi.
Well, Wi-Fi,
whatever you want to call it.
well, whichever one it is, we apologize for the little bit delay in getting started this evening. But we
Yes.
hope that you guys will pass the word and make sure that everybody tunes in with us this evening. It's going to be an exciting and thrilling show to hear from my dear sister's book. We have the newest author coming I'm going to put it out there to the New York Times bestseller. Up there with Brother Harold, everybody else. She's going to be a New York Times bestseller with her wonderful book, Hard to Kill. All right. We'll be welcoming Ms. Deborah M. Evans to the show tonight for the very first time, my dear sister. So we'll get with her in a little bit. We'll do a little host chat, talk about her book and all that wonderful, great stuff and things of that nature. So it should be a fun show. Guys, again, we want to thank you for your patience and waiting for us. Want to remind you real quick. I'm sorry, I'm queuing some other people in as I'm doing. I apologize for looking down. So coming up, starting next week, we are rolling out some other shows. We got a lot of great people coming up. We're probably going to call it. What is it? Kicking it with the fellas. One of them we're gonna call it. Chatting with the fellas, hot talk with the fellas.
Yes.
But we'll be highlighting some of our celebrity guests. Some of our actors will be coming back. I believe Kevin Savage will be our first actor coming back next week. So they're excited about coming and kicking it with the fellas. We're going to talk about what they're doing, and then also go ahead and get into hot topics. So we want to hear about their parts. So it should make some very interesting shows. So we got Coco Brown coming back, which I'm really excited at. Keith Burke coming back. We have Troy Bland coming back.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them and a lot more coming back to the show to kick it with the fellas. All right,
Friends of the show.
Yes. You call on them, they show up. We got Tara coming back. Oh my gosh! So it's gonna be, and we've got Susan coming back. Susan, you remember Susan from the so she's coming back to the show as well. So I would love to see what's going to happen in our conversation about her because she is so empowering about women, So it'll be exciting to have her back on the show as well. So got a lot of great things, guys, coming up as we get ready to go into the fall. And man, you wait till you see us when we coming in September.
I hear that.
Wait for what's truth behind the truth is going to do for you in the fall. It's going to be dynamic.
Oh, the new season.
Exactly. Y'all gonna have to turn on.
What? It doesn't feel like we've been going. I don't know how many seasons we actually been. It's just been like a whole. You think we've been going through, that type of situation with Harold? That's a first because I never thought about the, seasons, the new season, the next season. You don't think when you do stuff like this, how many, that exists in the social media world? You hear that for television,
and true. I think that what we had talked about doing was. Creating a different feel for us, a different vibe for us, because we kind of rolled into our first year and kept moving, at the end of the day, how we've done so far. So when we sing our new season in September, we're going to have a new look, so we're building that in that. And it's just our structure. So we're bringing our production value up another notch.
Okay.
So it'll be more exciting, and we have more people that are wanting to be a part of the show. We got a lot of people that's asking to come on Truth Behind Truth.
All right.
So we're raising because we got to get ready. We got to get ready for our studio out here in LA. Hey, we ride past One Brother Studio every week, okay? And we are proclaiming, okay? One of the brothers, Sony Studios, or LA Center, right across from my house. Truth Behind the Truth is going to be replacing The View, the what's that other show? Them girl shows. What's that other one?
Talk.
The Talk. And what's that other show? The Real. Oh, trying to get real. All right. So we gonna do it, y'all, because we got something to say.
They just hired a guy to the Talk. Did y'all see that?
Wonderful.
A male co-host. I forget his name, but he's everywhere. I forget his name, but those who follow the Talk would know who I'm talking about.
Wow.
And on top of that, I'm surprised you didn't start the show off with the usual.
What's one?
Your COVID mandate.
Oh well,
Put on your damn mask.
Put on your. Now, I was about to put another word before that damn mask.
I was waiting for him to say
he called me. It was about to come out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna put on that mask. Okay.
These days out, I mean, this Delta is something serious. It's really a mess.
Yes, I mean, and I'm glad that here's a good part, and we won't spend whole because we've done shows on COVID, but I'm really glad that Gavin Newsom, our governor, has taken sole responsibility of making sure that everybody tries to stay safe. Okay, and putting these mandates out. I don't give a damn if you want to put the mask on or not, LA people. Wear the damn mask. Okay, at the end of the day, some of us took the responsibility of getting COVID shots. I know, Errol, you didn't have to because you've been you've been in that juice and thing. Well, others went in that juice and to get that fortified, energized body.
How do you feel, Harold, about the situation that's going on? Do you think that people who do you think that I know you haven't been vaccinated, but do you think it's now time, for people, or do you think people should still hold still? I mean, I know that's a very, big question, but do you think some people still hold still with the vaccination or try to go get it?
I think it's just a very personal decision. So
okay,
I think it's a personal decision, and I think people know what their risk level is, I think, and sometimes they take care of themselves and what their health condition is. And so, I definitely think that, there's, folks that definitely should take it, that, have a higher risk in older people.
Right.
I think it's a very personal decision.
I think it's a very personal decision.
Yeah, and I get you. I think that the situation with that is that, of course, they're blaming now the unvaccinated, for the spread that's going rapidly again. And this variance of it spreads a lot faster than the very first one. So,
right.
And it's hard to get in people's heads of why they didn't want to get vaccinated and all those other type of things. And, we don't have enough time to figure all that out, right. At the end of the day. However, there's a couple of commercials that were on out here that two people have died from not getting vaccinated, and then they were in the hospital, and at the last point, before they went on the ventilator, and saying, I really wish I would have gotten vaccinated. You see them at the end of the day. So I'm just saying, and we'll leave it at this. I'm just saying, like you said, Harold, very personal choice. However, if you have underlying conditions, if you're overweight, if you have all these other types, if you already have breathing issues and things like that, right. Don't risk your life. Okay. Right. And don't risk your life for somebody that's down in Florida, that's a Cheez-It, okay, that has gotten vaccinated, and y'all stupid, about to say something else, stupid people following this man. Okay, he got vaccinated, but y'all so dumb, okay, that y'all don't want to get vaccinated in the process because you're trying to follow his lead and the man out of the office. Okay, y'all need to get a life. Y'all need to get a life. This is about.
He don't mean y'all dumb. He just means you're misinformed.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you. A polite way of saying it, Harold. No, anybody that follows somebody like that is dumb. Okay. At the end of the day, get your own life. Find your own authenticity. Listen to truth behind the truth, so you can find your authenticity that you know that you're enough. Okay. At the end of the day, all right. Then you won't be following no Trump and no hump and all that other type of crap going on. You have your own life and your own decision, like you said, Harold. Live it out. All right.
Well, I'm kind of scared to ask you about this next subject. I really would love for us to talk about the new video, the Lil Nas X.
Oh my gosh! Harold, you didn't see that, did you, Harold?
I actually did see that. Yeah.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I have since become a little, what's his name, Lil Nas X fan after that performance where he did part of the performance. He did a short tribute to Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah,
I started paying attention to him, and so I've become a fan of his. Yeah.
Well, I think his creativity, I know you got your point. I know his creativity has just been, well-to-do. Okay. This latest video, I mean, I'm surprised that they did everything nude. Okay.
I am too.
I'm surprised that they filmed that way, but hey, it's part for the court. You know what I'm saying? However, there has been cycles of people, and we can bring up two of them that did nude stuff as well and got away. Madonna walked down the street nude. Okay, at the end of her, what is that? What's video that
Erykah Badu did?
Erykah Badu did it too. Okay, so let's not even just jump over the jump overboard because he performed the video in that aspect. So I give him his level of creativity. Some people think that he's a too in your face what the community that he represents. I really don't think so. I think that what he is doing, he's just taking the power that he has and the platform that he has, and he's like giving them a middle finger for all what they've done to him in the past over his life. You know, so I think that is kind of where it plays up, in and of itself. You know what I mean? So I applaud him. You know what I'm saying? And I've read different articles, different pieces on Facebook, what people said about him. Typically from the LGBT community said, "Well, how gay can you get?" in their comments. I'm like, really? Like, really? You actually said this? And then we won't even talk about what you do privately in performance. So, at the end of the day. So let's not.
I think that's why the prison theme was there in the first place.
Thank you.
And I think that's what and I was kind of confused too when I first saw it, because, when you look at art, it's like you analyze it, you dissect it. But when you said that, that's where I felt the prison backdrop, because as people within the LGBT, whatever community that you're in, we're all in some form of prison within society's woes. And I think in his situation, being a gay man, being a gay black man, with the machismo that is put upon us as black men in general to be ultra masculine, and to have to be this man that everybody wants us to be, whether it's ultra sexual or just so much stereotypical crap that's been over the years. Now it's finally refreshing to see a new way that is being pushed out there through what he's presenting in his music. Yeah, we it's nothing wrong in being masculine, but it's nothing wrong in being feminine too. But there is still this agenda that they would love to be pushed, that y'all are pushing this, or he is pushing this on our culture, on our community, on our kids. That this is the way we're supposed to live our life. And I'm like, no, it's not the way you should live your life. It's the fact that he's showing you that there are different types of people out in here in this world who have different ways of living, different ways of loving, and different ways of wanting to present themselves to be free in this world that we live in. And I'm sorry that goes against whatever you believe religiously or politically or whatever world viewpoint you stand on. But I'm sorry. Humanity is humanity. Either you're going to jump on that friendship train Gladys Knight sung about in the 60s. Are we going to jump on that friendship train? Or are we just going to do the opposite? But I encourage Lil Nas and to do what he does. I love Lil Nas. I just want him to be protected and to be safe in whatever he's trying to do. But Annetto, go ahead and do what you do.
Quick point, Harold. Before
I'm just going to say to Dee's point, there's nothing wrong with being who you are. Nothing wrong with being who you are.
Absolutely. Totally. All right, cool. Well, great host chat. All right, we have a couple people waiting in the wings tonight, that is going to be a little surprise for our guest, our guest, my wonderful sister. We're going to go to a quick break. And after our quick break, guys, we will be back with her very first time on our show, but I'm calling her author. All right. Deborah Marie Evans will be with us, and we're looking forward to digging into her tonight. We'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hello, all right, and welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. Those of you that are just tuning in with us, we want to welcome you to the show tonight. Apologize for the little bit of delay. We had some technical difficulties all over the place today, coming in. So our guests are maybe running into a little difficulty, but we will try to work with it where we can. We'll keep the show going in this process. I think that we have our dear sister CK Ford is waiting in the green room as well. If we can't get her back up, then we will definitely be working with, back and forth to see if we can get her message, Cheryl, as well as Deborah back in as well. So we're trying. I think they're having some major storms on the East Coast, typically, I think in the Michigan area, something like that's going on. So it's affecting our signal tonight. But anyway, we'll see if we can bring her up. All right. But for the very first time to the show, to The Truth Behind the Truth, my dear sister, love her so much. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, which you guys will hear about tonight in the course of the conversation tonight. To the first time to the show, as I said before, we want to welcome Miss Deborah Marie Evans to the show. Yay!
Hey guys.
Hello, my darling.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. What an honor and a privilege. I am totally and completely humbled.
Oh, please.
You have no idea. Actually, you don't need me. John can tell the whole story.
I probably could tell the whole story, from the beginning to the end. You know what I'm saying? Truly, I am the book. Okay,
You are the book.
Pretty much.
Oh wow.
But when you have somebody that's been a part of your life so endearingly, through so many. Oh my God! When I tell you, we have seen each other through some okay. A lot of it. I mean, some deep
Talk about storms, okay?
Mercy. For real. For real. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, there are people that come in, and I'll let her share, in just a second. But when, you never know when you're gifted for people in your life. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you never know how our Creator just drops people in your life for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I could say that about Harold. I mean, Harold and I became brothers for a lifetime. He was dropped into my life, at the end. But, my husband has just been dropped into my life, for a lifetime. You know what I mean? And we should treasure those, treasure those people. I mean, at the end of the day. But I'm not going to run my mouth. Okay. Because I'm going to let our guest talk.
Feels like you're riding in the car.
Okay, I know, right? So, my darling, how are you? What's going on?
I am doing wonderful. I'm doing fabulous. I'm plugging away at the book. I plugging away at work, doing the legal assistant thing, always plugging away at ministry, because ministry is wherever you find it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, enjoying my grandkids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Excellent. We, I don't even know where to begin, Dee. I mean, in terms of that, because the book, and I'm not sure, I haven't read all of what you're going to, how it's evolving to be, but just take us back to, take us back to that night, okay, where I think the inception of where this all spearheads, and what happened, throughout the course of it. Not again, because wait a minute, don't tell too much, because y'all gonna buy the book. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna make that clear right now. All right. Don't tell them, because y'all gonna buy the book. So girl, put some cliffhangers out there, okay?
I can start off with one real big one.
Okay. Go right ahead.
You.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell the quick version. I was coming from a church, a ministry, and actually God had told me to stop going to the church. And if I call the name of the pastor, everybody in the entire world would know. So you're going to have to buy the book to find that out. That's first. This particular night, my brother, my sister, Maria, I see her on, and my brother, Philip Lewis, is on. And Philip was at the church this particular night, and it was summertime, June. He offered me a ride home a couple of times, but I had a friend that I wanted to stop by the MARTA train station and visit. So I told Philip no, at least 3 times.
So this
And
was
so
in Atlanta, right? I'm sorry, because this was in Atlanta, right? So
I'm sorry. Yeah, this was in
okay.
Atlanta. Philip had flown in from New York.
Okay.
And so I left and I went to the MARTA train station, Indian Creek to be specific. And I talked with my friend who was a supervisor there. His name is Anthony, for probably a good 2 hours or so. Then decided to hop up and get on the train and take it up to the next exit. And when I got off at Kensington, it was only like a 5-minute bus ride home. And I lived in the Avondale Estates area for anybody who's familiar with Atlanta. And when I got off the bus this particular night, when my foot hit the ground, I knew something was wrong. I couldn't tell you what it was or what was going on. As I say in the book, the only thing that was missing was the scary monster music. That was it. I watched the bus go off down the street and I wanted to run after it, but of course I couldn't do it. And the bus was gone. So I'm standing there and I literally heard the Spirit of the Lord say to me, "Do you trust me?" And the voice, I know it wasn't audible, but it was audible within my soul.
Yes.
And as I stood there, I'm arguing with the creator of the universe on the corner. I'm going, now, why are you going to ask me that? I'm out here. It's 10:30 at night. I'm by myself. Obviously, I'm not scared. So where's this coming from? And as I stood there, all of a sudden, I looked across the street and the street was very small, very narrow. And so across the street, I saw 3 young men walking and they literally looked like they were marching. They looked like soldiers. One in the middle was really tall. There were 2 flanking him that were short, but they were same height. And now, John, you know, and Dee, you may know that I'm nearsighted, farsighted, wherever I am. I keep like 10 pair of reading glasses on me at one time because I can't stand not to see. And without contacts or glasses, my vision is blurred and it leads to a headache. So I might have had my glasses on. I don't remember, but it's still 10:30 at night. There's only one little street light out there. And I see this kid in the middle take his hand and reach it down into his pants. And I know he pulled up an object and it was literally as if I had zoom lens. He pulled up an object and he brandished it in the air. And then next thing I know, I'm seeing orange, blue, and yellow flames. Well, I knew it was a gunshot. And I said to the Lord at that moment, oh, so that's why you asked me, do you trust me? What are they going to do? Are they going to come over here and rob me, rape me, kill me? Is this a gang initiation? What is it? But oddly enough, the kids kept walking. I don't know to this day if they ever saw me. So I thought, okay, now's the time to make it home. So I made a mad dash across the street and there's no sidewalk in this area. There was a daycare on the corner that had a circular driveway. I started walking through the driveway. This car pulls in very slowly. I raised my hand to knock on the window of the car to ask the person to call the police on the kids who were shooting. And the last thing I remember was holding my fist up in the air. I guess it was, I don't know, a few minutes later, and I was on the ground. I literally was coming to. And I felt absolutely fabulous. I felt great. And I was thrilled because I remembered the kids. And I said, okay, at least they didn't hurt me. I saw my purse a few feet away and my cell phone. And I said, okay, all I got to do is get them and get up and go home. And I tried to roll over on my right side and I couldn't feel my right arm. I tried a couple of more times. And so I laid there and did a little self-diagnosis. I said, well, obviously you had a right arm I thought I had been running from the kids and fell down. And I said, you had a right arm when you fell. So after I couldn't feel the right arm, I said, well, have you, I'm going through like a test check. And I'm going, well, you haven't been, if you were shot, you're not paralyzed because I can feel the rest of my body. I just can't feel my right arm. So after a few minutes, it was like, well, if the right arm don't work, honey, roll over to the left. So I rolled to the left and I got very sick. And I said, okay, something is wrong. I don't know what it is. Within a matter of seconds, as if this lady was playing baseball and running to make a home run, somebody comes scooting up on their knees, a woman, grabs my hand, starts praying and speaking in tongues. And I'm going, whoa, okay. I'm feeling great, but I'm judging by her reaction. Something has got to be really wrong.
Mhm.
And the next thing I knew, she just kept saying, hold on, baby, just hold on. You know, I gotta roll my shantaro bullshit. Just speaking in tongues and saying, hold on. And next thing I know, there was a police officer standing in front of me. And he asked me, had I been shot? And I said, I don't know. And at that moment, everything started to fade away. I've had enough surgeries to know the last thing pretty much to go is your hearing. I couldn't hear anything. And I just started talking to the Lord and saying, okay, well, I should be seeing Jesus. I should be seeing some angels. I should be hearing harps. There should be a major production going on because I'm coming home. And there was utter silence. Now, I had forgotten in that moment that he had asked me not so many minutes ago, do you trust me? Mm-hmm. And so my next thought was, okay, well, let's talk to this lady. And she was so kind. She's a stranger. Let me tell her to let my sons know that I was thinking about them before I died and that I loved them. And the whole nine. Tell my mother I love her, blah, blah, blah. I never got a chance to say anything because I heard a male's voice. Now, to me, a lot of time had passed, but apparently these events were going like this. And I heard a male voice say, she wasn't shot. Now, up to this point, I'm feeling good, except for when I rolled to my left side, I got a little sick, but when I rolled back, I was fine. So I hear this male voice saying, officer, she wasn't shot. And then I began to feel water on my face and I'm going, okay, now it's raining out. What else you want to add to this? But it wasn't rain. It was the young man's tears. He said, I'm so sorry. He said, I didn't see you. I ran over you. Please forgive me. And in that moment, pain, like I can't even begin to imagine. If I could have gotten a hold of the officer's gun, I probably would have shot myself. I understand why they shoot animals now. And I could hear nothing. It was silent. And the lady just kept saying, hold on, hold on. And I remember telling her, I don't want to hold on. It hurts too bad. I can't do it. And I knew whenever the ambulance got there, they were going to have to move me. I would have rather died than for them to move me. And after a while, off in the distance, I heard the ambulance, heard the sirens. And when they got there, they scooped me up and they kept telling me all the way to the hospital. I wanted to go to DeKalb General because it was around the corner. And they said, no, you're trauma. We have to take you to Grady. Well, they kept telling me you're really bad off. Don't go to sleep. Just hold on. I knew they couldn't give me anything for pain because they needed to do an assessment first. So the thing behind when we got to Grady, I kept waking up and going to sleep and waking up and going to sleep. Let me just add this right here. I had not been to Grady at all for 3 years. And the last time I had been to Grady was June 21st, 2007. My stepdaughter had been killed. She was shot in the head and she was taken to Grady ICU. And after a day or two, there was no brain activity. So they obviously she died and they harvested her organs. It was June 21st, 2010. 3 years to the day she had been taken.
Can I interrupt you just for 1 second? Go ahead. Go ahead, Ish. Ish was going to just kind of give us a visual on the moment that that I walked in. I have to integrate this part of the story because it's just so.
Yeah, you got the good picture too.
Yeah,
that's a good picture.
So vital to the moment because I remember I was asleep and I got a call at 2:00 in the morning, and I just went to bed, and I had just talked to her literally, and I said, "Well, call me when you get home," and she said, "I will." And so I didn't hear from her, but I drifted off to sleep. So I get a call from Grady, and
And you can imagine they said, you know, you were the first person in her book. She said to call her brother. And they said, your sister had been ran over. And I didn't know how to react at the particular moment, because you know how it is when you just talk to somebody, you know. And so anyway, so I'm waiting, and they said, well, you can't come down. We got her resting comfortably, as you guys can see. That's what I walked in and saw. Okay. And I mean, honestly, I was just, just devastated at the moment. But this point will kind of cheer up the moment, okay? Because I walk over to her, and it reminded me of, when, and I mean, gosh, she was so swole. She looked like a linebacker. I'm serious. I mean, this picture doesn't even give you justice of what, when you walked in the room and saw this. But the tenacity of her spirit was so powerful in that moment. Okay, in that moment. And I looked at her and I said, girl, what we gonna do? Okay, what we gonna do? But she looked at me, and it reminded me so much of the moment that I walked in and saw my mother in worse conditions. And Deb looked at me, and I'm gonna put it this way for all of us. She said, Deb looked at me like, what the hell are you doing here? and she looked at me, stop crying. So as you can see, and I'm gonna let her go on. I had to interview for that particular moment, but as you can see in the picture we just put up, just the miraculous intervention of the power of healing to put her completely back together. I mean, guys, I'm telling you that the picture just doesn't even do it justice, as to what the amount of surgeries that she went through and things like that. But to look as beautiful as she has, at 21 years old, and just to have, come through this horrific event, the part of her life. But anyway, I had to say my part. But go ahead, Deb. I'm sorry, I just had to bring that in there at that point.
Oh, no. And I'm glad you did, because I was too, too crazy, for lack of a better word, to even realize the damage that had been done.
Yeah.
As they put me in the gurney, and I watch a lot of ER shows. I was married at the time that this happened, married and separated. My ex-husband used to say all the time, when I come home, that's all you watching is ER, emergency, anything to do with a hospital room. I watched it. So I pretty much knew from those shows what was going to come next. They told me that I had hemopneumo, I had blood and water in my lungs, and that they were going to have to give me a chest tube. They actually gave me 2 chest tubes. And I asked if I could have something for pain, and the doctor said, yeah, we're going to give you something, but by the time it takes effect, you will not have felt it. So just squeeze my hand as hard as you can, yell, scream, or whatever. And then the next thing I know, they're cutting off my clothes for surgery. And I'm thinking, do you know how long it took me to find a pair of blue jeans that fit? And I'm also working part-time. And this is a new outfit, and I just got my hair done and my nails done. I'm laying there literally thinking this, and the doctor's telling me, well, you have blood in your belly, we're going to have to take you to surgery and blah, blah, blah. And I'm laying there going, oh, well, okay, I guess if they have to cut everything off, it's okay. It's to save my life. I think we can do this. But I literally laughed through the whole thing. I remember at one point they had to put me on life support, and to wake up and have a machine breathing for you. Unfortunately, a lot of people know that horror now because of COVID, but to wake up and have a machine literally breathing for you. And I think my adopted nephew and a couple of people were in the room, and I was trying to move my hand to let them know I'm here. I'm okay. I can hear you. And as I moved my hand, my nephew is going, oh, look at her. She's such a diva. She got her nails done. And I'm like, do you actually think I stopped the doctors and asked them, can you bring a manicure team in and do my nails? And so then I started wiggling my feet, and he's going, oh, her toes are done. And I'm going, I'm trying to let you guys know I'm okay. Are you kidding me? So I stayed in the hospital. What was it, John? I think 25 days, 25, 30 days.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly.
And then I went to a nursing home, which was that deserves a book all by itself, that experience.
Wow.
Had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to use my arms again. I still don't, as far as injuries are concerned, I still don't have any feeling in my left cheek. It's totally numb. My left shoulder, clavicle, all of that was crushed. My spleen was gone. My pelvis was broken. And I have titanium in my right arm from the elbow up. And that's the thing. The reason I couldn't feel my right arm is because the main bone had been severed. But I continued to move my fingers, and I should not have been able to. I have faint. It's very faint now, but my records show that I had tread mark from a tire on my left leg, but that leg was not broken. And it just doesn't make any sense. And I now have titanium on my ribs as well, because they didn't heal properly. And I literally do not live a moment or a day without pain. Every breath is pain. But God has taught me how to live above that and rise above it.
Yeah.
There's so many miracles associated with this, and it goes even further and deeper, if you can believe it.
So he actually ran you over, didn't hit you, actually ran you over.
He ran me over at one point, and then at another point he drugged me, and he literally drugged me into the only street light that was on the corner, which is supposedly how this woman, her name is Yvonne Sanders, supposedly saw me. Now, the background story went that she was supposedly a pastor's wife, and that they were coming home from Bible study and saw this. But then the actual police report reads that she was by herself, and that the kids, here's the other thing. The person that ran over me, let me go back and kind of explain that. When I got off the bus, they were behind me to the left. The kids were on the right side of the street. The person that ran over me was in his car on the left. He had his lights out. I never looked that direction anyway. Wow. So when I got off the bus, what I felt was the altercation that I stepped into the middle of, the spirit of that whole thing. So when after he ran over me and drugged me, I understand he didn't know that he had done it until this lady stopped. They were shooting while I was on the ground.
Oh, wow.
The shooting over me. And this Yvonne Sanders supposedly talked the man into putting down his gun and not chasing the kids so that he could see about me. That's why he was still there when I came to. And I did hear him tell the police, I'm clean, and he apologized to me. He said, I'm so sorry.
Let me interrupt you just for one quick second. Yeah. There's a little surprise that we have for you tonight. Okay. Our dear friend Cheryl, that you listened to her broadcast the other day, she's coming on for something special for you tonight. She's waiting in the green room. You can bring her on now.
Oh my God. Hi.
Hey, Cheryl.
I enjoyed your broadcast so much last Saturday. Oh my God. It was so rich.
So,
Thank you.
Cheryl's got something that she's going to share for you special, Deb.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Deborah. It is wonderful to be here. I am just as surprised as you, because JB contacted me earlier today and said, he sent me a message and say, hey, you're going to be in the show. And I'm like, well, I have an engagement to go to, my brother's birthday party. He's like, I really feel led to ask you to come in tonight because I feel that you have a word for my sister Deborah that's going to be on, and I told him, I said, well, what I will do is I will scroll away back in one of my brother's bedrooms. I'll take my computer and I will come on, for you. And so I'm just, I'm thoroughly blessed. I know that, that's what spirit means when it says, be ready in season or out of season. But with spirit, there is no in or out of season. As long as we are in the flow, then we are going to get to where it is that we need to be. And I so identify with some of the things that you spoke of, being triaged to Grady and what have you. I too have been there. I got hit back in 1999, right as I was pulling out of my apartment community on North Hairston Road. And right as I pulled out of my apartment community, a truck had jumped the lane from behind a MARTA bus. I was at a standstill. I got T-boned. And when my car was at a standstill, my kids were small, they were in the back seat. And when I got hit, my car went airborne. And every time my car rolled, my head hit the steering wheel. I ended up upside down in oncoming traffic on the opposite side of the street. And I came to just long enough to yell out to my kids and ask them, are you okay? And they say, we've been hit, but we were upside down and I could see the access gates to my apartment community on the other side of the road, but we were upside down. Then I was comatose. And the next thing you know, I remember being in Grady Hospital, just like you were. I was, sedated. They airlifted me and my kids there. And when they wheeled me in, all of the doctors and everything were saying, well, what was she driving? She's so small, at the speed that vehicle was going, chances are she's going to die. If she's not dead, she will be a vegetable and what have you. So I am here to attest to the wonder working miracle powers, healing powers of God Almighty. Because were it not for the grace of God, there go I. And when you said that you didn't know whether or not you were in this life or out of this life, I had literally passed out of this life. I saw my spirit left my body and I saw all of the work that they were doing on me to try to resuscitate me because I coded out. And so I literally left this dimension. But I can tell you that when God has a plan and a purpose for your life, not even death can stop it. Not even death can stop the plan and the purpose that God has for your life. Because when we have been purposed and destined, when God has us earmarked to do something specific, not even death can hold you or take you out. So as for somebody that has been resurrected from the dead, and I was literally dead, they had marked down the time of death. I left, I went to the other side, and I met with a friend of mine that had gotten killed in a head-on collision 2 years before. And he told me, he says, I had to come out this door to stop you because this is as far as you can go. You have to turn around and go back. And I'm like, but it's so peaceful here. He says, God says that your work is not done yet. You have to go back because the only way, there's some people that the only way they're going to come to the knowledge and the fullness of God and know who God is because it's going to be through you. You are the walking, breathing, living testimony. So when you go back, you will be leading people out of the darkness. He says, not necessarily from the hellfires. People are in hell already in their lives and where it is they're going in the turmoil. He says, but whenever you show up, they may never remember your name, but they will know that they had an encounter with God. So what I want to tell you is that with all of the pain and the suffering that you have gone through, this is not the end for you, and you will not always be in pain. It may have come, it did not come to stay, but it shall come to pass. And I'm speaking to you from a person that had suffered a traumatic brain injury. I had a shift in my spinal column. I had hairline pelvic fractures. I had the seatbelt attempted to wrap itself around my neck, where my neck was nearly broken. I had a fractured collarbone. I also had broken ribs, and one of my arms was pulled out of the socket, and they had to relocate my arm. So when I tell you that God is a miracle restoring God, then that is certainly the gospel truth, because I am a walking, breathing, living testimony. And with everything I went through, I had no physical therapy. Okay. I suffered a traumatic brain injury. I had no physical therapy. And I spoke to God when I had to leave my job.
Powerful.
I had to leave my job because with a TBI and my having been an accountant, I worked in accounting and finance for like 10 years. You know, with a TBI, everything is shifted, as you very well know from having been hit. But when the things that we think that are out of place, Spirit is setting us in place to do what it is that we were purposed and destined to do anyway. You may not have been able, I may not have been able to do the things that I used to do, but God had a plan and a purpose for me all along, and use all of those things to bring me to the place that I am right now. And this is only the beginning for you. And I feel that where it is that Spirit brought you from, Spirit gave you brand new life so that you could lead the life, so that you could walk into the light and draw others that are going through out of the dark places. So it was a resurrection life for you. It was like a life reset just for you, the same way that it was for me. And when Spirit sets you on a path for where it is that you are to go, there's not anything that anyone can do to stop that. Nothing at all. So I speak life, I speak health, I speak wholeness, I speak healing into you, and for everything that it is that you felt that you were robbed of, you are being restored 10,000 times over. Wow. And so there is not anything, whether you have a job or whether you don't have a job, Spirit can still provide for you.
Amen.
I'm living testimony.
Spirit can still provide for you. It does not matter what you have lost, because when Spirit puts you on the path for for the divine purpose, you may lose houses, cars, money, jobs, friends, even some family members, because when your illnesses and your injuries become invisible and people cannot see them, they assume that there's nothing wrong with you.
That's right.
You know? And so they can assume there's nothing wrong with you, but nobody knows what it is you're going through but you and God.
Right.
But when I looked around and I saw, I'm like, God, where are my friends? You know, I thought that I'm like, I don't have a support system. God says, when you look around and you don't find anybody but me, I'm the only thing that you need. You and I make the majority. So God and I made the majority, and God went out ahead of me to make all the crooked places straight and all the rough ways smooth. It does not mean that they felt smooth while I was going through them, but when I look back on them, I'm like, wow, had it not been for the grace and mercy of God and bringing me through, and I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that it was my faith that kept me. Because that morning of that car accident, November the 19th of 1999, I had gotten my kids in the car to go take them to daycare. And right when I cranked up the car, they're like, Mom, we're going to be late. I'm like, I forgot something. I ran back in the house and I got my Bible, and I threw my Bible on the back windshield. So when I tell you that God is faithful, from someone that had to be, they had to get the jaws of life to extract us out of the car, because the windshield caved in, the top of the car caved in, all of the windows broke out. We were upside down. So when they had to extract me out of the vehicle, out of a stick shift of a Volkswagen Golf, and with the jaws of life, and my kids told me later, they said, well, Mom, when the ambulance came, then the fire truck came. And I'm like, well, why'd the fire truck come? They said, because after we were extracted out of the car and we were put in the emergency vehicle, the car blew up and caught on fire.
Wow.
So when I tell you what it is that God can do, God is faithful in all things.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead.
Deborah, when you stepped off the bus, I think you said in the story, you heard the voice of God say that, do you trust me? Was that before the impact, or was that when you were in that position on the ground? Did you hear that voice?
That was absolutely before. And I didn't remember it until when I got to the hospital after they brought me out of ICU and down into a step down unit. The young detective came, and I believe he was young Catholic man, but nevertheless, that is important. But he had me read the report, and he said, "Do you agree with what's in the report?" And I said, "Well, I was kind of a little bit unconscious for most of it, but up to that part, yeah, I do." I said, "But the only thing that puzzles me, I pray for that young man. I tried to reach out to him because he was so torn and so broken. And I wanted him to know, honey, I am absolutely fine. I'm probably a better woman after the fact than I was before. And I know you did not leave home that day with the intention to run over me. So if he's listening to this by any chance, God bless you. God keep you. And I pray you are living your life fantastically now." But the thing is that in that moment, the detective says to me, he said, "Well," I said, "I don't understand why he was going in that direction if he was trying to get away from the kids." And this is before I knew the shooting was still going on while I was on the ground. And the detective looked at me and he said, "I think that God had you there that day, because if the boys had been there without you there, they would have died and not been ready. Had God taken you, you would have been ready." That gave me a whole different perspective of the whole thing at that point.
Wow.
Because my question is, and I'm so sorry for interrupting, because I want to ask both of y'all this. In those moments, even though they're so unfortunate moments, is that God telling us as us that I'm still in control, even if though your faith is there? But sometimes we as men, we believe that we still hold in some form or fashion our lives in our hand. But is that God waking us up to tell us that I'm still in control and whatever purpose that you got going on, and this can happen, but I still have the power? For the both of y'all, is that the message when that is going on in our lives, when that has happened in our lives? Is that God telling us that I am still in control?
Well, as for me, I feel that God didn't necessarily create the accident, but God can make all things work together for the good of those that love God and that are called and sent according to the higher purpose. And so that is our message that was born out of the mess that we were in. We didn't create the situation, but we were in the situation. And I feel just like I'm sure that Ms. Deborah feels so, that our faith in God is what kept us, because we were walking with God before, but through the process, God says, "Come up higher." I'm not going to say that it is going to be easy, but that which I take you through, then nobody will be able to deny the power of God in your life.
Wow. Girl, I know you had a point. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dad. Make your point. Go ahead, make your point. No, I know Harold had one thing.
For me, it was the same, but there's another caveat to that. For me, I had been living my life in a way that, although I am saved and love the Lord, and I know He loves me, I have been living my life in a way that I pretty much been telling God to kiss my behind. I mean, I can't fudge that. I can't hide that. I just have to be real about it. I went on and we say some things are little things, but nothing is a little thing when it comes to walking with God, because the only way you can show Him that you love Him is that you obey Him. And that obedience is for your sake as much as it is for His. And I had just been, I'm going to do what I want to do because God is going to let me get away with it, because He's been letting me get away with this, that, and the other all my life. Well, I believe with all my heart that the pain is tolerable. I can live through it. I can bear it. But I remember a certain man in the Bible who wrestled with God. And when he got through, his hip was thrown out of joint. And he remained in pain. The scar was still there. If I need that scar to be there in order to remind me when I get too big for my britches that I need to obey God, then so be it.
Wow. Harold, go ahead. Harold.
Well, no, I just want to say that this show should have been called The Miracle Show because you know, just hearing your stories just reminds us that miracles still do happen.
Right.
God is always in control, even when it doesn't look like it, even when it doesn't feel like it.
Yes.
God is yet in control. So just thank you for sharing.
But you know, I actually I'm so honored because I'm looking at 3 miracles because each one of you have a powerful. Harold, you're a powerful miracle yourself. I mean, you have come through a disease that a lot of people don't make it through. You're a miracle yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at 3 miracles right now. So
what
you're
did
right.
you survive, Harold? If you don't mind me asking, what disease did you survive? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, I had prostate cancer.
Oh my God, you're so young. Not that you have to be young or old, but you
Never
know. Wow.
So for the miracle at hand, this is, and you're right, Harold. We should have titled the show "The Miracle Show." You know, right. At the end of the day. Right. But it is that, and you know, throughout these stories and the beauty of them, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, guys, dudes that are tuning in tonight, I mean, you need to get these books. You need to get Deborah's book. Can you give us and we'll talk a little bit more before we end the show. But the expected release date, I think you said sometime in September. Or off camera, we were talking about.
Right, September.
Okay, so let everybody know that they can also reach out to you via email, how they can reach it, and just probably maybe pre-orders or whatever, as far as the book is concerned.
My email address, and I thank God so much for John. I have to tell you all, if he didn't push me to do some things, I absolutely wouldn't do them. I refused to join the 21st century some years ago and get a cell phone, and John made me get one. He made me stay on the phone with me while the people connected me, and I kept that number for years. And so he pushed me into going to Gmail, and I hate Gmail, but the bottom line is I do know my Gmail address. It is hard. The new one is hard to kill Deborah.
Hard to kill.
Okay, hardtokilldeborah@gmail.com. There's no E in it. It's HARDTOKILLDBORAH@gmail.com. That's it, right there on the screen.
And that's also the title of the book, right? The title of the book is Hard to Kill?
Yeah, the book is Hard to Kill, The Accident, Volume 1. Wow. Because it's a lot more to tell.
Wow. You know, I want you to just touch a little bit more. And then, Cheryl, I'm just about your books real quick before Deborah gets back in again and finishes up for tonight. Just mention about your books real quick for the audience, Cheryl.
Yes, I am the author of 2 books. The first one is entitled Third Day Revelations. And the second one, it's a poetry book. It is Silver Shadows of the Moonlit Soul.
Love that title.
And yes, so it was a journey, and it was my journey. And if my journey is able to help someone else to be able to tap into the God and the goddess in them, which is their hope of glory, so that they can discover, you know, where it is that they are to be positioned and what they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be showing up in this earth, then, you know, it's quality over quantity. So dig deep and don't let go.
I know that's right. So where can they get your books from again, Carol?
Amazon.com. You can go
Amazon.com.
On Amazon. Okay. Yes, yes, both are available on Amazon.com.
I'm sorry. And you're going to be on Amazon when yours is fully released, right, Deb?
Right, and that email address is wrong. There is no E in it, and I leave the E out so people will pronounce my name right if they don't know it. It's actually Deborah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so minus
DBRH.
the E.
Okay, so minus
Kill,
the E,
kill
guys.
the E.
Kill the E.
Kill the E, huh?
So I guess in a few more parts, Deb, if you want to share just a little bit more of an excerpt as we, Cheryl, I know you're in your position. If you have to run, we appreciate you being here tonight.
Yes.
Thank you so much for dropping that nugget of gold on us, and
Yes.
inspiring us. Sister, thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I appreciate that. God bless you. God bless you. And may he continue to multiply you and raise you up to be
And
that
many
blessing
blessings
you've
on
already
you
been. So many. Thank you.
Thanks again, Cheryl, for the act of obedience tonight to be here. Now we really appreciate it. Very humbly.
Thank you so much. And I
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as you were just kind of give us maybe a couple more points that you feel like you wanted to mention about the book, real quick, just to kind of wet the whistle, wet the water, trouble the water, however you wanted to be. Not telling too much, okay? Because guess what, y'all gonna buy this book, okay? It's already out in the universe. It's gonna be Amazon and New York Times bestseller, okay?
Yeah.
And y'all gonna help her do it.
Amen.
So go to that email address.
Well,
I'm sorry, because go to that email address and pre-order. I'm your selling manager right now.
thank you.
Go to that email. They tell me on my show. Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. I know for y'all, some of y'all, I hope I don't get offended, but I'm just saying it in love. Go to that damn email address and order your book. All right, go ahead, baby.
A mess. Let's see. Well, the other thing that's very interesting, again, there is so much more, but I think people will find it interesting that I had everybody looking for this woman. The detective, Yvonne Sanders, the detective said, well, let me give her a call for you, because of HIPAA, I can't give you the number, but he kept me on the line while he dialed the number and nobody answered. And he said, well, when you get well enough, you can get the police report and you can find her. So on the day that I was well enough to drive, as a matter of fact, I was talking to Philip that day and I was going to get the police report. Then I was going to go find Yvonne Sanders. Then I was going to go find the young man that ran over me. I was going to do those three things. So I had Philip on the phone with me when I got to the address that Yvonne Sanders had left. And what is so interesting is, let me back up a little bit. Anthony Sanders, the friend of mine that was the supervisor at MARTA, Anthony took me back to the site that the accident happened. And the picture that John put up on the cover of the book, that's actually me sitting in the driveway where I was run over. Wow. And so when I went back there, the Holy Spirit kept saying to me, go into the daycare. And I'm like, for what? The accident happened at 10:30 at night. These people don't know anything about it. But while I'm arguing with the Lord, I'm marching my two little, feet on in there. And when I get in there, the owner is there. And I said, do you know anything about an accident that happened out front? She said, well, there was a shooting a couple of months ago. And I said, well, no. She said somebody was shot. And I said, oh, I didn't realize this corner was as bad for such a great neighborhood. And she said, well, yeah, there was a girl that was shot and there was a lady, the school the next day to see how the lady was doing. I said, that's me. And I wasn't shot. She grabbed me and ran me around every teacher in that school and said, this is her. This is her. And she said, come here. And she took Anthony and I outside. And there was a square. She said, this was a crime scene, honey. There was a square where your buttons were from your blouse. There was another square where your blood was. And there was another square where he had pulled your hair out. Because when he drugged me, it pulled my hair out as well. And so, and I eventually had to get it shaved because of the road rash and all that. But nevertheless, and then she said, look up on the fence. I said, well, nobody was shooting. And that's how I found out about the shooting. She said, oh, yes, they were. There's the bullet holes right here in the fence there. Wow. So I had everybody in the country looking for this woman. And kind of different than Cheryl Ford's story, the outpouring of love from me was absolutely insane. John can attest to that. I didn't know that I knew that many people. They literally shut down my visitors after a certain point.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous in a positive way. So I had the world looking for.
You hear what I said? As I started charging for them to come in and see you, I said, "Get your tickets in the Morris Road, the Morris Road."
Okay. And you know, that's funny because I had a nurse in ICU that every time I would wake up, she'd just be staring in my face, like all the way in my face. And finally, one day I had the courage to ask her, why are you in my face looking at me like that when I wake up? She said, because people who look like you, who've been through what you've been through, should not be talking back to me.
Wow.
You got people dying all around you, and you should be one of them, and you're still talking to me. But in the midst of having everybody look for this woman, Anthony says to me one day, months later, he said, what did you say the woman's name was? I said, Yvonne, and her last name same as yours. And he said, well, I have a sister named Yvonne. He says, not her first name, it's her middle name. And her last name is Sanders. And I said, oh, wow, where does she live? And he said, she died 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And Anthony was the last person I saw.
Wow. Wow.
So nobody can find her. And when I went to the house, an old lady answered and said, I haven't seen that woman in well over a year. But that's the address that she gave.
Wow. Wow. Let me ask you, I know we got to wrap up that. If there's one excerpt of the book that you feel that you can leave with our audience tonight, you know, and I think that as we get close, we're going to have you back again to expound more once we have everything in paper, you know, we can do it. So we'll plan on another time for you coming back on the show. But if there's one excerpt, you know, area of the book that you could pull out to encourage, you know, the audience tonight, what do you feel that would be, you know, and we will leave it with that.
It would be during the whole time that I was in the hospital. I could not feed myself. I could not move. I could not stand for anybody even come near me to look at me. None of the above. I was in so much pain. But through all of that, every roommate I had, God had me ministering to them.
Wow.
Every single solitary one. And there was one in the end that she had a brain aneurysm, brain tumor, something with her brain. And every night she would cuss her boyfriend out like clockwork. And I never got to see her. But until I left, God told me, I need you to minister to her. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing. I don't know what to say, you know, whatever. And so that Friday, they were supposed to be taking me to the nursing home. And they came and got me, literally got me out the bed, unhooked everything, put me in the gurney. And they were headed out the door, and the nurse came in and said, they don't take wound care patients on the weekend. You have to put her back in bed. She can't go there until Monday. And it was that night the Lord said, didn't I tell you I had a job for you to do?
Wow.
To minister to that young lady. Wow. And I ministered to her very briefly and just simply said, that man loves you. I know you got something going on with your brain, but you're doing this like clockwork. And something tells me you can control that. Wow. And if I were you, I would, because you don't know who's going to be there for you.
Wow.
That Monday, they came and got me and took me out of there. And that was the first time I was able to look in her face. Wow. So the message is that no matter what hell and high water you go through, if you acknowledge him, God is always present. He will never leave you. He doesn't even want the people who are in hell to be in hell. God loves you. And if you acknowledge him, I promise you, in the name of Jesus, he will talk to you. He will tell you what to do. He will lead you and guide you. And he'll do it for somebody else. It's not always about us.
Right.
But it's about ministering to and loving on somebody else.
Absolutely.
We're always pointing out the finger of what somebody has done to us. What did you do to somebody? You hurt somebody at some point in time in your life.
Absolutely.
Forgive them, forgive yourself, and keep it moving.
Absolutely. I wow. Totally. Harold, did you have anything you wanted to add to the board before we wrap up tonight? You good? Okay. Did you have anything you want? Did you have anything you want to add to it?
To be honest with you, I want to say this was a very inspiring night. It was something that I probably need to hear and everybody else needs to hear, because what's going on in today's world right now, we are living in a time where people are not taking things seriously. And God is doing miracle work right now.
Right.
And to be honest with you, it's so funny. You know, I work a job every day. I go to work every day, and I see a lot of struggle. People come in homeless, mentally ill, PTSD, all of it. And, you know, some people, they have in their own lives some hell that they're going through, but sometimes an inspiring word, you just don't know, might get somebody over the hump. But this, in this moment, Deborah, I really enjoyed this. I really took a lot from this, because at the end of the day, in your moment, it was, to be honest with you, it was an unfortunate moment, but it was a test that needed a testimony. And right now, that testimony is so needed right now in today's time. And I'm going to get this book. I think everybody should get this book, because we need stories like this to remind us that, you know, it's not about us.
Right.
It's not about us.
Right.
Everything,
Everything
is you know, around us. It has a connection.
Right. Absolutely.
And to be honest with you, those people who came to you when you were on the ground, those angels, I think those were angels.
Wow.
I think those were angels.
I do too now.
I think they were
do
angels.
too, D. I did at first. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Woo. Okay.
Okay.
It's getting deep. Okay. It's getting deep. Okay.
It is.
Woo. It's getting deep. All right. It's getting deep. All right. Wow. Okay. I gotta create a sea life moment here, because we could go on. All right. I mean, you know, we gotta create an amen moment here. You know what I mean? Woo. Okay.
Well, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. I love you all. But there is such a special love and a special bond between you and I. When people who don't know us and know our story ask me, who is John?
Right.
My only reply is, you got a couple of years. Because it would take that long to tell you who he is and what he's been to me. You are my brother from another mother.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
For sure. And I love you to the moon and back. We have been through it. Oh, God, we've been through it.
Yeah.
But we came out not smelling like smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was the mission.
I love you.
Love you too. Yeah, that was the mission. We always said we're going through, but we're gonna come out smelling not smelling like smoke. So hey, hey, you know, we never thought we'd get ran over cars and get heart surgeries and
yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
So, you know, I mean, it's but hey, you know, at the end of the day, there's a mission, there's a plan, there's a purpose, and a fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know, and we are all commissioned and appointed to do it. We can't change the world, but we can change the part of the world that we've been assigned.
Amen. Amen.
All right now.
Amen.
All right. That's it.
Amen.
We can only change the part of the world that we've been assigned. You know, when I'm trying to change Harold's part of the world, I'm out of line. You know, when I'm trying to change your part of the world, Deb, I'm out of line. When I'm trying to change your part of the world, I'm out of line. I can only change the part of the world that I've been assigned to. So hello, Truth Behind True people, you are part of my world, okay? And y'all been assigned to me and this group to change your world, all right?
Okay.
From here now to Sony Studios to Warner Brothers, wherever this show ends up in the next few months, you have been assigned to be a part of Truth Behind the Truth, because we set out to be a mission of life-changing formats, and it has been that, and it will continue to be that. It is our mission. It is our mission. But the number one focus is always love your creator, love yourself, and you can always be in a place to love humanity. All right. Y'all have a blessed night. Thank you, my sister. I love you.
Thank you.
We are going to
Thank
have you
you.
back
Thank
and
you,
dig a
Carol.
little bit more into this, and later might come back sometime in September. It has been a powerful and rich night. Tear night, which I knew it was going to be anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Already playing for it. Okay. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I had my back
See,
clear.
exactly. Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Truth Behind the Truth tonight. We, of course, will be back again, 9 p.m. East Coast time, 8 p.m. Central time, all right? And 6 p.m. on the West Coast. And next week, we will be digging into what we call Hanging with the Fellas, all right? Actor Kevin Savage will be with us, sharing what he's doing right now in in his TV and film area, and also kicking it about some life-changing things that's going on with him and hot topics. So it's going to be a good show. All right. Y'all have a powerful night. Harold, we'll see you in a little bit. Anything else?
Oh,
we're done.
A mouthful.
All right.
All right.
Have a
Great
powerful night,
show.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Good
Thank you
night.
for tuning in to The Truth Behind the
The
Truth.
truth.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.